Hey everyone, welcome to the live. This is my live with Luke Coutinho, my first one on the Tete with Tisca, and I am aiming to bring meaningful conversations to you, and the idea is to be able to have wonderful in-depth chats with experts in their field and to be able to enhance the quality of our lives. And today I have the wonderful Luke Coutinho, who's a holistic lifestyle coach. He talks about food, diet, and a whole lot of other things that the things that we do in our daily lives. So I'm just waiting for Luke to come on, and then I have a bunch of questions from you. So in the first maybe 15-20 minutes, I'll talk to Luke about various things, and then I'm going to take your questions. So I'm going to keep an eye on that and keep noting your questions down for myself. If you have any relevant questions that concern you regarding lifestyle, regarding food, regarding little minor tweaks that you can make to your health and wellness, then please put your questions down right here. I've got a lot of them from the comments that have been put in the comment section on the video that we put up, the shout out. So here we are, and waiting for Luke. Here we are. One moment. Looking for Luke's request, and here we are. Luke's here. I'm looking for his request. One moment. All right, we shall be getting Luke live in a moment. I met him and there he is. Hello, Luke.
Hi, Tisca. How are you doing?
I am very well. How nice.
Good to see you.
Adjust our screens just a little bit so we have you and me equally there. And there we are. So nice to see you, Luke.
Good to see you. You're looking great.
Thank you. Thank you, though. So everyone, I met Luke for the very first time in Goa, and I was so impressed. He looks like a picture of good health. Luke is a holistic life coach. He talks about food, wellness, changing little habits in our lifestyle. So without wasting time, because we have Luke only for like half an hour, I'm going to quickly jump into the questions. Is that all right, Luke?
Sure, absolutely. Let's go for it.
You know, we've got so many thousands of questions. In fact, friends have been calling me from all over and saying that, listen, we want to ask Luke this, we want to ask Luke that. So I was like, look, I'm going to ask him what I can in the limited time. You know, Luke, I've been on diets my whole life. So it's General Motors, low carbs, no carbs, keto, this, that, the other. And I've actually messed up my digestive system. So the first question that I have, the first two questions are my own questions. Sorry, it's my life. I can ask the questions. So my first question is, what acidifies a system? And how can we de-acidify a system?
So a lot of people are expecting me to list out foods that are acidic, but it's our emotions that create the most acids in our body. Anger, jealousy, envy. All of these toxic emotions build up acid in our body. Let me give you a simple example, because most people are going to believe that this is airy-fairy. If I ask everyone right now to close their eyes, imagine a lemon, a really sour lemon. You're cutting the lemon and you're touching the lemon to your tongue. Okay? You will start to produce saliva. All right? Just the thought of a lemon will make you produce saliva. That saliva is sending a signal to your stomach to start producing stomach acid. So you see, when we're stressed out, our thoughts have a direct connection with what we produce in our body, which is why when people eat meals under stress, they feel more acidic, or there's indigestion, or they eat meals under stress in a hurry. You have a working lunch, everyone's trying to finish in 5-10 minutes. You produce more acid. So one of them are our emotions. Two, our body has a beautiful pH regulator to balance acids and alkaline foods. Everything is perfect for us unless we overdo it. So now if I'm overeating a particular food, I need to produce more acid to break it down. If I'm overdoing it on my protein shakes, I need more acid to break it down. So you see, we don't really have to try too hard to balance acids in our body, but we got to correct our lifestyles. Most people are acidic because they overeat or they don't listen to signals from their body. So if you eat spicy food and you're constantly getting everything to do with spicy food, like burning in your stomach, constipation, burning in your rectal region, you know that too much of spice doesn't suit you. So you don't do it. So a lot of people try to get onto alkaline foods and cut down acidic foods. It doesn't work that way. Some of the best foods are acidic in nature. Fruits are acidic. Nuts are acidic, but they're not bad for you. So we can't just pull out a word and say, oh, this is bad for us. Our bodies have the ability to convert acids, alkaline, acid. Let me give you an example. Our stomachs are meant to be acidic when we eat. Our pH level drops to about 3 to 3.5 because that's how we kill bacteria that may enter our body through our food, or we break down proteins, carbs, and fats. At the same time, our bladder, if it becomes too alkaline in nature, we won't be able to kill germs and bacteria, so then we get UTIs. So the body has its own intelligence to balance this, but these are our lifestyles that acidify us. If we're too sedentary, we're sitting all day in front of the TV, we're eating, we get acidic. You're sleep deprived, you're acidic. So it's really more of lifestyle than just foods that create acidity in us. People who overtrain are acidic in nature. So if you overtrain, you have to also rest more. But if you're overtraining and not resting sufficiently, you will build up more body acids. So that is the whole deal about acids. You know, I don't think people should be Googling lists of alkaline foods and acidic foods and trying to balance them. This is what acidifies us.
Second question. How do you control sugar cravings?
Okay. So there are two ways of looking at sugar.
Sorry, Luke, I'm going to take a second.
Take a sip, please. Yeah, take a sip. Take a sip. Yeah.
Everyone's listening. I'm just going to take a second. My throat's getting...
I'm going to keep answering the question. Okay. So technically, sugar cravings, there are two ways of looking at sugar cravings. When we are emotionally low, or we have too much stress in our life, or we're sleep deprived, the body needs energy. The simplest form of energy is sugar. So we tend to crave sugars and simple carbs that break down into instant energy. So one is we're either feeding our emotions with sugar because that's what the body wants when we're emotionally low. The second reason could be you have a gut problem. If your gut isn't working the right way, you have too much of the bad bacteria. That bad bacteria feeds on sugar. So whenever the bad bacteria, which is a living organism, is hungry, it's going to give you a craving of sugar. So then we feed that bad bacteria and it grows more and more. And then we have why we have sugar cravings. It's either we're emotionally low all the time, or number two, we have gut problems. If we're able to fix this, you know, we're not going to have crazy sugar cravings. Once in a way, getting a craving of sugar isn't a bad thing. Given to it. But if you're doing it constantly all the time, then you need to look at, am I feeding my emotions?
What's once in a while?
Once in a while, it depends on everyone. Like I can have sugar maybe 3 to 4 times a week because I'm that active and my portions are controlled. Someone else who may not be active will have to have sugar lesser. Someone who has diabetes or another problem may have to restrict it, you know, to a further degree. So it's different for everyone. There's no one rule fits it all. If you're super active today, you'll break down a cup of chai with a teaspoon of sugar in 5 minutes compared to someone who's sedentary. So it's really different for everyone.
Sure. Leading from that question, I think another thing that I really understand, because someone very close to me had a massive vitamin D deficiency and a B12 deficiency. And doctors won't talk about this. What is the role of vitamins in a person's life, particularly focused on, for me, B12 and D3, because I'm constantly telling all my friends to get their B12 and D3 levels checked, because I find that people are not even aware of this. This is not even a topic that people get into.
I'm absolutely happy you brought this up, because this is probably the first show where I'm going to make a very, very strong statement that if you have a vitamin D deficiency and a B12 deficiency, this connects with every possible disease that you can get in your life. And that is scientifically and medically proven today. In fact, over the next couple of months, the same way immunity became a buzzword with the COVID, you're going to see vitamin D3 getting a lot of limelight and a lot of flack on the medical world for not pushing this the right way. You are right. It's never spoken about. People look at vitamin D levels, they're 35 and people are okay. We need levels which are 70, 80, and 90, which is within range. Because without vitamin D, it's a struggle to lose weight. Without vitamin D, you cannot make hormones. It's a precursor hormone. Vitamin B12 is connected with your brain development. So there's a huge connection of Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia with low levels of vitamin B12 in our lifetime. And then it builds up into a deadly disease. All cancers and the immune system are connected with low vitamin D3 levels. So I'm so happy that you brought up this subject, because everyone's looking to spend money on organic food and expensive gym memberships, but they don't want to spend money to get a simple vitamin D3 or a B12 test done. Realize that without the right levels, my organic food is useless. And then you make the right decisions. Go out, get your sunlight in the morning, get your sunlight in the evening. If you're highly deficient, take the vitamin. Your doctor will prescribe a vitamin. But doing everything for your health with low levels of vitamin D3 and B12 is disastrous for your health. Like they say, you and I, all of us are built up of trillions of cells in the human body. These cells need very simple things: good nutrition, vitamins, minerals, and oxygen from the air that we breathe. As long as we give this to our cells, our body's intelligence looks after us. If there's even one deficiency of a vitamin, we can have innumerable problems ranging from acne to our skin to a hormonal imbalance and all of that stuff, which is why it is necessary for us to focus on vitamin deficiencies and correct it as quickly as possible. So I urge everyone out there, get your levels checked. And if they are deficient, get them fixed.
Another one, which I've been reading about a lot, because I'm one of those sort of people who deep dives into one thing, and then I start researching, and I'm like, Googling away like a little internet rat, looking into various burrows. What is the role of magnesium? Strangely enough, a lot of Indians think that because we live in such a hot country which has so much of sun, that we can't be vitamin D3 deficient. But sunlight only from the hours is potent only till about 2 o'clock?
No, in fact, it would be around 7 o'clock. For our country, anywhere between 7 o'clock to 9. The 12 o'clock sunlight is the greatest, but the UV is too much because of depletion of the ozone. So that actually becomes dangerous for us. So anytime between 7 to 9, 9:30 to 10, depending that the sun doesn't burn your skin too much. And even the evening sunlight between about 5 to 6 o'clock, just before sunset, that's decent as well. Yes, we have sunlight in India, but how many people use it? We have free air. How many people breathe the right way? So, it's all about human behavior. We have everything given by nature, but we don't use it. We're all the time in offices. Most people wake up after sunrise, so they miss out on all the natural drugs that exist all around us. Coming back to magnesium, beautiful point. Beautiful point. Every cell in the human body requires magnesium. Every single cell. Most people are deficient in magnesium because they don't understand that vitamin D3 and magnesium work together. So if you're deficient in vitamin D3, you also have an issue with magnesium. Magnesium controls every function. You may not have to take a vitamin or a supplement for this, because you get it in all of your common foods. If you're eating a balanced diet, you're getting your fruits, you're getting your nuts, your seeds, your legumes, and your lentils, you will have sufficient magnesium. But if you're doing all of those fad diets that tell you not to eat fruits, not to eat nuts, and all of that stuff, you're bound to have a deficiency.
What is the test for a magnesium deficiency? I know that B12 and D3, because I do mine once every quarter, every 3 to 4 months, I'm checking my B12 and D3 levels, because you can even get heart attacks from a D3 deficiency. Is that right?
It is, it's not a direct correlation, but it is connected, because if you have low vitamin D3, you have low magnesium. You have low magnesium, that's a risk factor for heart. So you see how beautifully interconnected everything is in the human body.
So then the magnesium, how do you exactly check it? Is there a blood test for magnesium?
You can do a blood test for it. But the simplest symptom is people who wake up with stiff calves in the morning. Your calf muscles are tight. You have stiffness in your body. That's an indicator that your magnesium is low. And of course, for people who are on heavy treatments like chemo and radiation, they will be low on magnesium because the treatment depletes it. So for them, you will supplement magnesium and balance it beautifully. So that's not a problem. Correcting it is not an issue.
Any particular foods that are magnesium rich specifically?
Yeah, all your nuts, your almonds, your walnuts, your pumpkin seeds, your sunflower seeds, all of your legumes, your rajma, your chana, your dals, all of these are great foods naturally rich in magnesium. Dark chocolate 70% and above is a beautiful source of magnesium. But like I said, too many people on fad diets not eating these foods, and that's why they're deficient.
That's excellent news. Okay. now that we've covered the vitamin D3, the B12, and the magnesium, which was a very, very big concern, because I really wanted to bring this up, because this was, of somebody very close to me actually went through a phase of almost like losing their mental balance, and was borderline, and then pulled back from there because they were diagnosed with just a simple B12 deficiency.
Right.
What is the big deal about, why is there so much talk about intermittent fasting? Take us through that.
Okay. So intermittent fasting is a beautiful therapeutic mechanism for great health. People have made it a weight loss tool because one of the pleasant side effects of intermittent fasting is good weight loss. But people have also made it a fad. They've also made it dangerous for them. You know, the question I ask for people who are doing 16/8 and all of these fasts, do it. But can you answer this one question? In that 8-hour window that you're allowed to eat, are you able to get all of your protein, all of your vitamins, and all of your minerals? If you can, great job. Okay, the second biggest mistake of people intermittent fasting, they drink coffee in the fasting period. Let me tell you right now, that is not fasting. You don't put caffeine, which is highly acidic, and something that raises your cortisol, which is your stress hormone, in a body that is fasting. That's the Western way of doing it. They find easy ways to make things done. Of course, you may still lose weight because you're eating less and your calories are coming down, but you're going to create incredible gut issues in the long run. Now, true fasting, it exists in our country for the longest time. If you look at the Jains, they stop eating at sunset and they eat at sunrise. Beautiful fasting period. Only water, some of them no water. Now, that's real fasting. But today, the mistakes people make with intermittent fasting, they use it as a mechanism for bad behavior. I'm going to drink tonight and fast for 16 hours. Doesn't work that way. I'm going to eat late meals and have dessert and fast tomorrow. It doesn't work that way. You need to decide, I'm going to fast at 6, 7, 8, or 9 in the evening, and fix that time as far as possible, and decide to listen to your body when to break your fast, whether it's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 hours. But people are using coffee to get them through. Anyone can fast on coffee. I can fast for 20 hours if I have 3 coffees, because you're going on caffeine, on energy. You're not going to feel hungry. Coffee suppresses your appetite.
I saw that in Goa. I saw your post in Goa. You like your coffee, Luke.
I love coffee, but I do it after I break my fast, never during a fast. That's the worst thing to do. So most people are not fasting. They made it a fad. If you really want to fast, it doesn't have to be 16 hours. Most of our clients around the world get the best benefits in 12 hours, 13 hours, 14 hours. Everyone's different, but do it the right way. Have an early dinner. The earlier you start your fast, the more effective it is. So if you can eat your dinner within 1 hour after sunset, which may be 7 o'clock our time in India or 7:30, beautiful. After sunrise, eat at 8 in the morning or 9 or 10. Listen to your body. That fasting is according to your circadian rhythm. That is way more powerful than the fasting that people do at different timings every single day using coffee and tea and lemon water. That's not fasting. So it needs to be done the right way. It's therapeutic.
Well, what I'm hearing from you, Luke, is that there is no one size fits all, right?
Yeah.
It's everyone has to look at their own body and understand it and tune in. For example, if you're someone who's an early riser, then you can eat your breakfast early in the day and then bring your dinner closer to sunset, and then have sleep early and have it like that. But if somebody who's a late riser, then you can probably push your dinner a little later and have your breakfast a little later. So you can suit it to your...
Absolutely. You keep shifting it according to your schedule.
Yeah.
You keep shifting it according to your schedule. And also one more thing, Tisca, fasting doesn't have to suit everyone. There are so many super healthy people who don't fast. They're healthy. So it's not like this thing that everyone needs to do. If you get the benefits, do it. If it doesn't work for you, don't do it. It doesn't always have to work for people. There are people who are super healthy and they don't fast. They eat regular meals, they exercise, sleep well, they're happy, and they're healthy. So it doesn't have to become something that we have to do.
Yeah. But it just stands to reason. Digestion is one of the most energy consuming processes of the body.
Yes.
I know I'm sharing my 2-bit worth, but if you give your body a break and let it digest, then it has time to heal. Your
Absolutely.
skin, your hair will go better. You'll have more energy. So in the time that I with you, which is almost coming up to almost 2.5 months, I've lost maybe 3.5 kilos, which was a kind of goal for a role that I was doing. But more importantly, what I'm finding is that I'm very healthful. I'm extremely energetic. And I'm not starving by long shot. I have a sweet tooth, which I've had ever since I was a little kid. So whatever you want to put that down to. It is the way it is. I love my me time, my ice creams. It's particularly bad after lunch. So what you taught me is to grab a date or to grab a prune or a fruit. So that instant craving for sugar. So I give it. I have an ice cream or I have a frozen yogurt, whatever I like. But right after food, when I get that craving, I make sure to have a date, and I'm taken care of in that. The other thing which you taught me, which I've already spoken about in the shout out video, was that you said that please have soup and salad before you have your meal. So then you naturally eat less of the heavier foods because soup and salad digest so much faster. Okay, one big question everyone has, two actually. One is, what is with water retention? What are the best foods to get rid of water retention?
So there are many. It's our simple coriander seeds that our moms have in the kitchen, where you can take a tablespoon of coriander seeds, boil it in water. That works as a diuretic, naturally pushes out water. So that's something that you can naturally do. A lot of people take the tablets, the pharmaceutical tablets, over the counter, non-prescribed, as diuretics to remove water. That'll mess up your kidney if you do it too often. When we have good fruits, coffee is a diuretic in a way. So when you have black coffee, you'll always find that you use the restroom more often, because it can push out excess water, which is also the reason why after a cup of coffee, we should have a cup of water so that we don't dehydrate. So we have coriander seeds, we have papaya, we have watermelon, we have cucumber. These are all natural foods that can push out water. But let me also tell people that if you're constantly retaining water, you want to look at the health of your kidney, because why isn't your kidney able to flush out water on its own? A lot of people who are dehydrated will also retain water, because water is needed by 70% of your body. So if you have low levels of water because you're not drinking too much, your body starts to hold on to the water that you have, because it needs it for survival. It needs it for the function. So these are all the important things which, come to water retention. Again, if you're eating too much of salt, very, very salty food, salt holds on to water. So you got to look at that. So if you have a late night meal, you always, not you, people usually always wake up puffy in the morning, puffy eyes, finger rings, can't fit their fingers again, because you didn't have time to break down your meal. You ate, junk which had too much of salt, and you're retaining water in your system. So besides foods, another beautiful way is movement. Walking is a beautiful exercise to reduce water retention. That's a beautiful exercise as well. Yoga, pranayama. Every time we breathe, it's respiratory in nature. It's water and oxygen. So these little things work really, really well to get excess water out of our system. Dandelion as well. You can get dandelion tea all over our country. So people have dandelion tea. That also works as a diuretic to remove water out of your system.
What is the minimum water requirement in a day? I would say, I would rather ask what is a great rule of thumb, if you were to say that for everybody they should. I assume it's 2 liters, is it?
It could be anywhere between 10 to 12 glasses as an average. If you're training more, your water intake will increase. If you're a kidney patient, listen to the water restriction levels that your doctor gives you. But for our country, anywhere between 10 to 12 glasses is ideal for all of us, because then we're also eating fruits which are rich in water. Our meals are cooked in water. So we are getting a lot of water. And Tisca, I wanted to go back to those first points, the soup salad that you've done. I have to say that we're talking about health today. People have to understand that what you have achieved is also because of your discipline. Everyone has knowledge. I know half the people viewing already know most of the stuff that you and I are talking. But at the end of the day, discipline and consistency. There is so much knowledge out there, but people don't use it. They read it, they get excited, but they don't implement it. So I really want people to implement it the way Tisca has. We've given her simple lifestyle changes, but she is so consistent. When I met her in Goa, she does everything on her own. She was lifting tables, pushing chairs, preparing for the shoot, all on her own. I think that's amazing. And of course, you had Shimpli from my team to guide you through all of these things. I mean, she's a star. I can just give the guidance from the top, but she's been the one really by your side right through. So I think it's your effort at the end of the day that people need to take away. And that's why you've got your results. You're not taking any fancy supplements. You're doing it. You're putting in effort.
Yes, I am. I am putting in a lot of effort. But what I find significant here is, like I mentioned right at the start of the live, that I've actually destroyed my digestive system. I don't want to take names, but I went on a diet with a particular doctor when I was extremely young. I think I was about 17 or 18, and I went on this diet where I was eating half a roti and one slice of orange, and that was my food for the entire day. and she was giving some sort of pills and things like that. So I just want to like use this moment to kind of push it out there that this is not the way. Not just what Luke and Shimpli have been telling me, but understanding the process. I've tried to understand what Luke and Shimpli have told me and said to me that, okay, this is for this reason, this is for this reason. So once you understand, and you understand that the body is one of the most miraculous sort of systems in the world, and as one grows older, one understands that better and better. It's not like an injury or a condition will stay with you. It's because you're doing something to keep it there. If you move the goalpost, or if you change the way that you're dealing with that, then the issue will also cease to exist. So some of these very simple tips that you gave, you said it yourself that actually it's all about the simple little things that you do that make the significant difference. So like getting the soup and the salad in first, drinking your water, other things that you've told me, like the rolled cinnamon and all of the other things which are very specific to my body type. And I'm not saying everyone has to do that, but I'm saying stuff that is existing in our kitchen, the ajwain, jeera, saunf, we call it the secret speak is AJS. So ajwain, jeera, saunf water. So all of that. Now one last question before we sign out, because it seems like half an hour just went like that, right, Luke?
We can take one or two questions if you have the time. I'm good on time. If you want to take one or two questions, we can do that. Yeah.
Let's take two more questions. What is the best cooking oil, and or what are some of the good cooking oils? If you can sort of tell us about that.
Okay, let me answer your question backwards. Number one, refined oils are slow poison for all of us. We need to go back and see what our grandmothers were using. So they were using pure ghee. If you were in the South, they were using pure coconut oil milled in your village mill, which you still get today. If you were up north, you were using peanut oil or mustard oil. Go back to those oils. It is so important for us to go back to our original geographical oils, which are cold pressed or wood churned or milled. But refined oils is the cause of inflammation. Inflammation is the root cause of every single disease that exists out there.
A lot of people talk about olive oil, and is that recommended in India? Because a lot
Very
of
good question. Very good question. Olive oil is not for Indian cooking. Now, if you're making a pasta at home, if you're doing a light saute where you're not cooking in your food too much, because olive oil has a very low smoke point, or you're adding it to your salads, it's beautiful. You can have it. But if you're trying to cook Indian food in olive oil, you're creating more radicals, more free radicals, and more inflammation, which is why Indian oils for Indian cooking have higher smoking points. This is the wisdom of our ancestors. Use olive oil, but do not cook Indian food in it. Go back to your oils that your grandparents and your grandparents' parents used. And that is the safest oil. Just because an oil is cheap doesn't mean it's healthy. Health is an investment. It is not a cost. Marketing makes us believe it's a cost, so we look at saving money and buying products, but health is an investment. It is not a cost.
Yep. One other big question popping up again and again: what is the best sort of food or symptoms of menopause? How do people deal with those? That's another big question that everyone's asking.
Sure. Okay. So I'll be honest, every woman goes through menopause. Okay. The question we need to think about is, ask your moms and your moms' moms. They didn't even know when menopause came, hit them, and it was over. Okay. Women today, and I'm not saying it in a selective way, they're thinking too much about menopause. By the time they're 38, they're already worrying about menopause. They're manifesting most of the symptoms. Sleep deprivation, junk food, too much of stress and anxiety will bring on a stronger menopause for you with more symptoms. But you have to understand that because it involves your hormones. The more sleep deprived you are, the more imbalance in your hormones. The more stress, the more imbalance. So most women are bringing it on. It's not that menopause is bad. Menopause is like birth is a function, death is a function. Menopause is something that you are going to go through. Now, how bad you go through it is completely dependent on the way you are living your lifestyle today. If you have a poor lifestyle at 40, yes, it is going to reflect on a more difficult menopause at 48, 49, or 50. But don't think about it. Accept it like a woman getting their period cycle. It's going to happen. Embrace it. Don't make it your enemy. And at the age of 40, start talking about low sex drive and falling hair and weight gain and all. That's only going to happen if you don't look after yourself at the age of 39, 40. If you wake up at 49 and decide to start getting into shape and losing your weight and taking care of it then, you're already probably premenopause and it's going to be more difficult. Now, if you get symptoms, there are always natural ways to work it out. Number one, if you want to go through least of the symptoms, try to lose as much of abdominal fat that you can in your early 40s or after childbirth. I'm not saying you got to become a model figure, have a six-pack, a size 0 figure. No, but lose abdominal fat. We shouldn't be increasing abdominal fat as we age. We should be losing it. So for that, we need exercise, the right nutrition, good sleep, good emotional health. If you do this, yes, you may go through hot flushes. You may go through night sweats. You may go through a little weight gain, but you will manage the symptom at that point with clarity and with grace. But people are fighting it. They're trying to punish off that estrogen-driven weight with more exercise. It doesn't work that way. You're going to lose the battle and you're going to get more and more stressed and frustrated. So take it easy. Understand it's a hormonal imbalance. What foods can I eat? Okay, which are all of your natural foods. How much should I exercise? Am I overtraining? Am I undertraining? Let me first fix my sleep. And I need to understand, everyone's stressed, but stress is the way you relate to a person, event, or a thing. It's never the stressor. So if I can work with these 4 parameters, I will have a better menopause. I will be able to overcome the symptoms.
I hear you. Another question, which is very big for me, my mom is borderline diabetic. So what is the best time to, for diabetics and for non-diabetics, what's the best time to eat fruit? That's another big question.
Fruits for diabetics are best digested on an empty stomach, but combined with something. So if I'm eating a mango, I'm also going to have maybe 5 or 6 almonds, 2 or 3 walnuts, and some pumpkin seeds. So I'm pairing a simple carb with something that has fiber, protein, and good fats as well. Now, if I just have a fruit alone, there are chances that my blood sugar levels will spike. So if I combine it with nuts, fruit, anything that has fiber, it's way better. A pre-diabetic or a diabetic, depending on their levels, can go up to 1, 2, or even 3 to 4 fruits in a day, spaced out. Now, don't be the person, not you. People should not have that morning fruit platter. More fruits doesn't mean you're more healthy. You know, people pile up 5, 6 fruits in a plate. No, that's too much of fructose going into your body. There will be a spike. Have 1 in the morning, 1 mid-morning, and 1 maybe early afternoon or early evening. You've got 3 fruits in a day. That's perfect and enough for you. Combine them with fiber and protein.
Yeah. And you shouldn't have anything, say, half an hour before and half an hour after?
Oh, no, you can. A fruit will digest in about 30 minutes. So you always have it in an empty stomach. You can have your breakfast right after that. 30 minutes later, you can have your breakfast. If you're having it mid-morning, you can have your lunch.
A gap of 30 minutes before and after is good, right?
Yes. I wouldn't prefer fruits after a meal. Not at all. After a meal, keep a gap of at least 2 hours before you have your next fruit.
Right. Understood. So you can have your fruit and then give a half an hour gap and then have your meal.
Yes, you can do that. You can do that.
The last question that I have, before that, I just want to make a point for everyone. Hello, everyone. Thank you for the wonderful, wonderful comments. Thank you, everyone. You guys have been so amazing. And there's so many questions. A lot of the questions are kind of medical and they need specific medical advice. And I think this is a more generalized chat about lifestyle, about broad things which apply to everyone. But if you have any specific questions, you can go to Luke's website and also take your medical report so he can address those questions specifically, and you can consult with Luke and his wonderful, wonderful team. Simply, I love you. So they're just the best, most genuine, authentic people that I have encountered in my career as a serial dieter, and I'm not dieting anymore. I'm eating healthfully. So this is coming straight from me, and it's not an endorsement. It's something that I have experienced. So I'm talking about what I have seen myself. So thank you, Luke. Thank you, Simply.
Thank you, Tisca.
And you know, this is something that I understand. Simply is constantly messaging me on the group and talking about, okay, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Because I think a lot of the food, you know, I've eaten the same food once when I'm stressed and once when I'm sort of enjoying myself. I also find that when you're eating with that old tradition that a lot of people still follow, they sort of put their hands over their food and thank whichever power they believe in. I'm not big on religion, but I'm quite spiritual. So, you know, just kind of bless the food and thank everyone and say, I'll eat as much as my body needs and not as much as my greed needs. I'll eat for my need, not for my greed. So I think that works really well. A simple blessing and say that I hope there's enough for everybody in the world, and a sense of sharing with everyone what you have on your plate. I mean, we don't even realize how blessed we are to have that food and to have choices and to have, gluttony and all of that are, I mean, there's sins in many religious practices. But I think the biggest sin is against your body. And so the biggest thing that I want to now finally round up this conversation with is what is the role of sleep. And Shimpli is constantly talking to me about, make sure you put your phone off like an hour or two before you get to sleeping. So what because all of us are constantly on our phones, we're watching something, and there's this whole sense of that I will not be able to sleep unless unless I watch something. I watch something and then I sleep. I'm on my phone and I sleep. So I want to understand the role of sleep and screens and all of that, and then we wind down this wonderful conversation.
Sure, Tisca. Thanks for sharing all of that. I appreciate it. Thank you. Sleep is everything. If I had to put nutrition, exercise, sleep, and emotional wellness in order of priority, I would put sleep at the top. Because if you don't sleep well, you choose the wrong foods to eat. If you don't sleep well, you don't have energy to have a productive workout. If you don't sleep well, you're more stressed. A tired body cannot handle the little problems that life throws us every day. But a rested body, you can take on stress like this. So sleep is at the top. It's a natural drug and a mechanism that is built in all of us. And we've abused it. We're the only creatures and species, the human species is the only species that abuses sleep. You'll never find a day animal, up at night. You'll find nocturnal animals up at night because there's a cycle called the circadian rhythm that guides all of us. Now, I understand. I'm not here to say we got to go back to caveman days and, sleep on time. No, you can still look at your phone. You can still watch Netflix, movies, whatever you want. Just organize your day. I do that. I like watching. I like going through my phone, but it's planned. From the time I wake up, 2 hours after I wake up, my phone is not on. That's my time for my yoga, my asanas, my meditation, my prayer, planning my day. Then I switch on my phone. And 1 hour before bed, I put it off. So now in that time, I watch my Netflix. I'm on social media. I do my work. It's all about proper planning. It's not about giving up what you like doing. It's about organizing it. So that 1 hour before bed is so important that you disconnect from your phone. It is so important that you put it away and use that 1 hour to plan your next day. Talk, communicate, read a book, meditate, pray, reflect on your day. It's beautiful that 1 hour will just pass by. And the rest of the time, be on social media, use the phone, watch Netflix as much as you want. It comes down to planning your day and living with that little discipline. We have thousands of people already doing it, and they're living a happy life. So it's possible for all of us to do that as well.
Indeed it is. Thank you so very much, Luke, for all your wonderful advice. And a lot of people are such huge fans of yours, and with good reason. I'm one of the people who follows you intensely, not just for dietary advice and not just to lose weight, but also to be healthful. And I like the way that you include a touch of compassion in everything. So thank you, Luke and team. And
thank you. Thank you so much, Tisca.
And a quick picture so that we can post this as a cover. Thank you. Thank you,
Take
everyone.
care. Bye, everyone.
Bye.